and welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. And today we are joined by my man Shane. What is going on, man?
Nothing much.
Waking up from 2 hours of sleep, I see.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta get your 8 hours, man.
No.
Anyways, you're officially a high school graduate, man. The 4 years flew by fast, but you looking back 4 years, everything that's going on in 4 years, just like how much relief, not happy are you that you gotten through this chapter and we're gonna get ready for the next one.
It's definitely like a bittersweet type of moment. I'm excited to be moving on to the next thing, and I'm also a little bit not sad, but I have that feeling like I'll miss being around an area where I'm so comfortable with and people who I'm so used to seeing every day. So, it's definitely a mixture of excitement and a little sadness for moving on, but I'm excited overall for everything that's coming.
Yeah, it was like, what's you guys, the entire class, which you guys, they called you guys names, you guys threw the caps up in the air. Like, what was like that feeling when it was officially over?
I wasn't as emotional as I thought I was going to be.
Right.
I thought maybe across state I'd get a little teary-eyed. I thought at the end I'd get a little teary-eyed. I don't know. It was just an exciting moment.
Right.
I think I was just tapped out. I was done. I was ready to go.
Right. No, that's definitely how it is, especially because you guys have a long week. That week you got prom, then you got the trips, and then
the camp too.
The camp
the night after prom.
And then you also got, graduation practice, which is like 3-4 hours long in that heat. So I can see why you guys are tapped out. But, you're moving on to Choate to do your post-grad. But what was the decision that led you to choose to do a post-grad?
There was definitely interests with colleges, but the main issue is being a walk-on.
Nah.
And, I just thought I had a better chance on betting on myself to go compete in a better league and get some more film before heading off there. And then also maybe taking a step back and seeing if there's another part of my game I can change, which is that position change that will be coming. So I'm just looking to go into Choate and just get faster, stronger, learn a new position, and then get some better film against some better teams.
Yeah, what was were there other schools that were offering you the post grad that you had to choose from?
I talked to Thomas More, I think the school's called.
St. Thomas More.
St. Thomas More, and then I talked to Bridgeton Academy.
Okay.
So Bridgeton Academy and Choate were my top two, and I went with Choate.
Yeah, right. What was kind of the feedback that the Choate coaches gave you that kind of persuaded you to choose them? It was kind of the things they told you, or some of the advice that they gave you about your game and how they could help you.
Number one, they were so welcoming. The head coach, he gave me a tour of my parents. The first day I was there, we went around and talked. And he just talked about how excited he was about my film and all that. And at first, they thought I was playing quarterback for them.
Right.
But, I had to shut that down real quick. That's not for me. Yeah. So they was like, we have all these other places we can put you. So that was the exciting part. But just the welcomeness, and then also the commitment that he has to his team, because, he has tons of college experience, and he could easily be at a top program with all his connections, but he stayed loyal to Choate and just wanted to help kids get to the next level. And so, looking at his success and how many kids have gone from Choate to the next level, it was something I was excited to be a part of.
Right, and you're one of those cases, you're not doing a post-grad to fix your credits or anything because of how good your GPA was, because this is kind of like you're going to be taking college courses already, right? So how important was that aspect too? Because now you're doing the post-grad, but also once you're done there, when you get to college, you'll have those college credits already. So you're not going to be behind from the peers that you graduated with from this year.
Yeah. I think also, Choate, it's not just your average high school where you're just learning algebra and English and all that. There's these different classes that they set up to kind of broaden your horizon.
Right.
So I'm more interested in their history classes, where instead of focusing on past events that happened, they're focusing on current events now, and they talk about how people interact with each other on a daily basis and how there's still prejudice here and all that. They bring up meditation classes to help with kids better understand their mindset and bodies.
Right.
So they just open up a whole different set of subjects, and it was something that I was very interested in. And like I said, not having to come here because of my GPA, but instead of sports, I was excited also that it kind of came with a bonus of being able to take some different, unique set of classes that I didn't have to repeat all over again.
Yeah. Also, kind of the situation you're in too now, because here playing at Lynn English, you have you got football practice, homework, but you have your friends around you. You could have those times where you could hang out with your friends. Oh, you're going there. It's kind of like it's strictly football.
Yeah.
Kind of like away from your friends and all, just to handle bits. More like a business trip, kind of, right?
Yeah.
How important is that? Just because I don't think you've had the time to just strictly focus on one sport for like a long period of time because you did so much. You did so much at the school.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm looking at this a little bit easier just because I'm going to be living there.
Right.
I'm going to be dorming. I'm going to be with my teammates all summer. I'm going up at the end of June for a team bonding trip that we'll play against other schools. So I'm starting to meet the guys. Like I said, the classes there as well aren't like super tedious, and it's like I'm in this building for 6 hours, more like 3 hours. I get space. I get an hour and a half for lunch to kind of do my own thing, and then they set you up with a nutritionist and trainer. So it feels like I'm going off to college just because of like how professional the school is. So I mean, stress level I think is going to be a lot easier for me to handle, and that's also another thing I'm excited for.
Right. You just talked about the position change, playing. You was playing receivers your first 3 years in other spots, but that past year you were strictly offense. You got in on defense a couple times here and there, right? How did that aspect help you? Because they've seen not this year, from like the other years that you were able to play other positions and then they saw that you made that transfer to quarterback and had a really good season, right? How did they use that to kind of show how they could help you on the field and the ways they could acclimate you into what they're doing?
I mean, they were excited just about the playmaking skills with the ball. So we talked about, not me strictly starting a quarterback, maybe packages and stuff, and then still playing that receiver role. Right. And then defensively, they knew about my corner history, which is also something that I've been teetering with as well since moving to playing a little outside backer this season. Right. And then I brought it up to them one day. We had a conversation. I was just saying that if it's easier, I can also play edge just for my size and stuff to help the recruitment process, just any way to get me into the school. Right. And so that's kind of what put that idea in their head, and then they really talked about it and thought about it, and they were excited about it. Yeah. So, right now we're just focusing on gaining weight. I've been eating properly and weight training to bulk up as much as I can before the season starts, and by the end of my time there, I'm hoping to be a whole new guy. Right.
And you've had the chances to go to numerous camps already, right? The last couple of years. What were those like? Those camps. I know you guys went to BC camps. I know Merrimack had you up there to see some practices and stuff like that, right? But going to these schools and then going to these camps, what was that experience like seeing other top players in the country?
I mean, it definitely prepared me at Choate. I mean, it's not like, they just accept anybody. Right. So, I mean, the guys on that roster are super talented, and it's going to be fun competing, trying to earn my spot there. But, all the camps I've been to definitely prepared me for the showcases at Choate. With how many big schools came down to watch us, how many prep schools all around came to compete, and just overall talent as well on the roster that I'm with. It prepared me a lot. Like you said, I've been to BC, Merrimack, UNH, Kennesaw. Right. So I've seen a lot of talent, and thankfully I'm playing with a lot of talent this season, and I'm excited to just get better from it.
Right. For you also, you're one of the kids. You didn't play youth football, right?
No.
You didn't play Pop One or none of that. You get to high school, and this is your first year playing football. In your first year, you're on varsity, right? Yeah. How the learning process for you, because some of your teammates, they've been playing since they was probably like 7, 8, or maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Yeah. But how was that process for you, just learning the game at a later age than some of your peers?
I mean, I had a lot of help. Thankfully, my freshman year, I had senior Jonathan, and he helped tremendously. Overall, just learning the game. I had Edwin Castro too, another great leader for me. And then also just kind of understanding, as I learned on again, that we're all high school kids. We're not professionals. It's not like I'm coming in and I'm playing against some 5-star athletes. I'm just coming in, I'm playing a sport for fun. Right. And then thankfully, I was good enough to compete, and now I'm in where I am.
When did like the coaches realize that that you had a unique skill set that during that time leading up to your first full season, during camp and all that?
It was sevens, I think. We were playing Malden. I was playing some 6-something senior kid, and I had a couple good reps against him, and it got the whole sidelines kind of pumped up, and that's when, at the time, head coach Lafrada, saw that, and, preseason came, and, I think I did pretty well. It was just the tackling part. Mm-hmm. I didn't start my first game, but I got in there a little bit, and I think it's, unfortunately, when a senior got hurt, that I kind of came in week 3 against Everett, and had a couple good tackles against that game. That since then on, they saw the potential there, and they saw they could trust me and build on that a little bit more. And thankfully, I didn't do anything to mess up their trust.
Right. When did like things started to slow down for you during that freshman season?
It was week 3. We played Everett, and there was a BC commit at the time. He ended up going to BC, but it was a big talk. And
he's at Bentley right now.
Yeah. And so I remember just lining up against them, just kind of freaking out a little bit, and it all just happened so naturally. They were in a little hitch play to kind of get them open on a one-on-one, and I calmed down a little bit, and I had one of my best, probably the best form tackle I've had, and since then that pumped me up, and then leading on, it just built up my confidence, and every year my confidence just got bigger.
And you guys going through transitions through the 4 years, but it seemed like you guys still stuck with it, and turning point junior year was the turning point for a lot of guys. Even the guys that graduated that year after that season, right? It seemed like everything just came together. Coach Ty comes in, another change of the whole coaching staff, but it seems like everybody kind of finally were able to just showcase a lot of stuff that they weren't able to previous seasons.
Yeah. Coach Ty coming in, he had his first meeting, held all of us in the weight room right after our loss to Classical. But he just gave a speech, and he just talked about how excited he was for this roster. He looked around, he said our record didn't define us. Mm-hmm. And then for me, it was a personal moment when he called out, my number at the time was 22, and he called it out, and we ended up having a private talk. And he just talked about, how much potential he saw in me that day, and if I really wanted and I really worked, he could get me to that next level.
Right.
And so right there, I kind of built that trust in him, and the next 2 years, not only did I work so hard, but just everybody around us worked so hard, because just how much he put into us, and in time, effort, providing us with things we need in and out of sports. And he just was that figure I feel like we all needed to kind of take that next step. Right. So we're all pretty grateful for that.
And then going back to that, even that last game of the season, the last game against Classical, it was a close game. It was a one-score game. You ended up scoring on a punt return. I think Jordan came close to scoring.
I don't
know. He did score on that, but we're going to talk about that. But even in that game, though, being able to make big plays on a stage like that, right, as a returner, how guys not winning that, but how much, did you take that momentum into the offseason because you guys were so close in winning that game?
I feel like for me, all 4 years I've played, I feel like I've always been with such talented rosters, and we just haven't been able to figure it out. And then just a new change, and the way Coach Mack just always hyped us up, and just the energy he brought every day, him and Coach Griff, you could just feel it, and guys just really, really wanted it. I feel like that off season after Thanksgiving, we almost beat them. We played a pretty good game. Coaching staff comes in, and I just feel like we all just felt like there was something that could be changed, and thankfully we all committed. I'm proud to say we did, not like someone didn't show up or didn't want it.
Right.
So.
Because as a young man, a lot of changes that kind of that can mess with you a little bit.
Yeah,
the consistency, not being there all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Coach Mack, he kind of matured us a little bit faster too.
Right.
I don't know, that junior offseason, I felt like we all just grew up pretty fast.
I think it was just one of those cases we got to do something because a lot of guys wanted to play on the next level, and and the time was starting to click. The time was ticking on them to do something and put something out. So I think that probably played a big factor.
Yeah.
getting notified of the position change first, but the junior season you guys had, right? You guys come out the bat, boom, go on the road in Lawrence, get a big win over there, and it seemed like that was just like the spark that everybody needed. I'm talking about Lindbergh, especially Jaden, the way he played, in that game, the big passes he made in that game, right? What do you see from Jaden after that game that that clicked for him?
I feel like it could be brought back to us training in the summertime. Jaden was a big part of our change just because of his leadership.
Right.
He was the guy that really organized us to go to Manning all the time. So like me, him, Zim, Altid, Cody, all those guys just practicing together. And then sevens came, and we kind of steamrolled through sevens and built all that connection up.
Right.
And then just us previously playing, before Coach Mack got there, and building that connection as well. But like I said, Coach Mack, he gave us some ego boost, but it was like a good ego boost. That, like, we all felt like we were like the best player on that field for some reason that first game. And so I just felt like we took that energy, we took that confidence, and we just rolled with it. And we didn't look back, thankfully.
That whole run that year, you guys end up making the playoffs that year too, right? Didn't end the way you want, but just being able to experience that and just the level that you have to go to play in at that point in the season to get to continue the season. What was the learning? What you guys learned from that game and just that run?
I would say, looking at the next year, I think all my juniors learned how to close out games. Mm-hmm. I think we all learned how to stay composed in close games. I think, we just also learned how to just be together, a lot of it too. And then just enjoyment. We all found love for the sport again. We learned how to just play freely,
right.
And that just made it so much easier. Like you said, it didn't end the way we wanted to, but, we still found some success, and we're happy to, end the way we did.
And also, you talked about earlier the seniors that you had your freshman year. Also, I felt like throughout your time you had before you became a senior, you had some good senior leadership, in front of you, right? How did those guys prepare you for the moment in, your senior class to be those leaders for those underclassmen?
They were hard on us. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't make it easy at all. But it built character. A lot of those guys are physical. They don't take it easy on you. Reps, you're getting thrown around. Being a little freshman, getting thrown around, tossed around, you get banged up. They talk trash at you during games and practices, but it just makes you tougher once you actually play another team that's like that. It doesn't get to your head at all. But I don't know. In the time when I hated it and was ready to quit, it made me better. I was close, but it built me up.
Right. It's kind of like you just got to go through that, to go through those growing pains, right? You guys coming into this senior year. I think after like game 2, it seemed like the coaches got together and just like whatever plans they had with the offense, they kind of scrapped it and just. They said, we got athletes, we're going to utilize the athletes and not overthink that. Is that a fair assessment?
I think a part of it. I think also another part of it was just kind of having me settle down. Mm-hmm. The first 2 weeks, I will say, it was a lot of it wasn't the play calling. It was a lot of like me just kind of being nervous. And, anytime I heard a pass play, I'm kind of nervous and shaking a little bit before. And, not really thinking about playing football, more about like how I'm looking to everybody else.
Right.
So we had a big talk going into the bye week, just like settling down, and just Coach Mack and Griff reminded me just like, I'm a good football player and I can do this stuff in practice, and if I just took a breath and remember that like I'm not just playing there by myself during games, I'll be all right. And so it was also a lot of outside noise too. We all heard the noise after week 2 when people were calling for jobs to be taken and players to be benched and stuff.
Right.
So, I took it a little personal. I think Coach took it a little personal. I think a lot of us took it personal. And going into week 3, a lot of it was Coach Mack talking to his staff, X and I talking, guys talking in general privately, and just trying to make sure that we turned it around and just go out with a bang in our senior year.
Right, and also was it also one of those things that you just realized you don't always have to get the home run play like all all the time.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, it's okay to just,
I think so.
And that's part of learning that position, right? Because not every play is going to be a home run play. Like, the little plays are going to help with those home run plays. And you talk about X and the season he had, and I talked to someone about this, like the lack of recognition he got in the state this year. I mean, he was probably one of the top backs in the state. I mean, in all these awards and all that, he had more yards than any running back that were picked over him. But why do you think that he didn't get the recognition that he deserved? Because I feel like when you put together the season that he had, he should get rewarded, but he got overlooked by guys who I pretty much thought he was better than.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to sound a little selfish, but, I would say it's because we're a public school. We play public schools as well. We play in the GBL. But, I mean, you put us against any team, I think X and I are doing some real damage. You put X or I on any team, I think we're completely changing on that program. Mm-hmm. And I just think X in general is just, like, he's a guy that's gritty and, is determined to win, and he plays for his brothers next to him that kind of powers his skill as well.
Right.
So like I said, anybody that ever talks about who the top backs are, who the top players are, I always make sure Beauchamp's in that conversation. And sometimes I get into little arguments with people, especially from prep schools and stuff, but I stand firm that, X is definitely a top 3 back in the state. And, him getting snubbed was crazy to me.
And like I said, you just put up the stats. You just look at the stats and just look at his yards and what he's been able to do. Like I don't think anybody has had as many big runs as he had this past season as well too. So it was kind of like he getting punished for the league he plays in, and whatever.
Put him on any roster, he's changing that program.
Hey man, he was at Swampscott, and the kids from Swampscott, when I talked to them, said the same thing, right? They said the same exact thing. So, them biases happen, but it is what it is. Big games, Peabody, Everett, Classical. You guys had some big Somerville, but then there was those non-playoff games that you guys had: Acton, Boxborough, Wakefield. Wakefield, just a few years ago, they were state champions, and they still had a good team these last couple of years.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, so those games, seeing those type of competitions, I feel like if anybody wanted to know about the team, I think those games were the defining moments of the team, because of everybody saying like the competition you guys played, and then you guys played those types of teams and beat them.
Yeah. I think a part of it also was just how loud we got after we missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
There was a lot of complaints, MIA and all that, and I think the scheduling was, some of it was to see us fail a little bit. I mean, 2 away games, one D1 school, one school coming off a playoff game. But, we lost. We didn't make the playoffs, but, we're still excited to go play these other teams and just make sure that people knew that our season wasn't a fluke. Definitely faced some adversity, though, in 2 of those games.
Oh, yeah.
Injuries happened, back and forth happened. We kind of faced a little grit, but, our Coach Mack prepared us. Like I said, we had the confidence that we could compete with anybody.
Right.
Nex and I both believe that, we're 2 of the best players in the state and could kill anybody.
Right.
So it was just that, playing together, playing free. And just playing to prove that we're as good as we say we are, and it's not just for show.
Right, and the thing too about the team, when you talk about you and X, but you had, I think you had a bunch of freshmen out there.
Yeah.
On the outside and in the secondary, a bunch of freshmen that, and you had the seniors too that were there in the wide receiver spot, but you had like 3 or 4 freshmen that really were focal points of the team, and they had to grow up fast themselves too, because they're out there on defense, and teams are run. They got to get in there and make plays, and they did that exactly. They made the plays. I mean, Gyro had one of the biggest plays against Everett with the stop. Cassius, he created some big fumbles in the air, but just how the maturity of those guys? How did you like their progression throughout the year?
my hat's off to all of them. I mean, the year we started off with, they could have quit, could have given up, said they were done, transferred out the next year. They could have complained, talked trash, all that, but they stayed with it. They were also part of the people that kind of made sure I kept my head up too to turn it around. But they also brought excitement.
Yeah.
Obviously, they brought the skill, but they brought a different type of aspect as well to the program.
Yeah.
They saw the success we had the year prior. They saw the way we're going this year, but they knew how good we could be,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of trust. But yeah, I mean, they stayed the course. They grew up fast. They made plays. They never complained, no matter their role, whether
Right.
playing both sides, whether they got subbed off, whether they were put on special teams or not.
Right.
No matter how tired they were, no matter how banged up they were. I watched guys like Cash split his hand open, Keelan completely just swell up on his ankle,
Yeah.
and they still showed up and played. And guys like Edmund, who are watching his freshman start, and he's still on the sidelines being loud and supporting. And
Right.
he finally got his time to come in and make plays for us. So, kudos to them, and I'm forever grateful for that.
And they were on the field a lot too. And you talk about them being, it was like no breaks for them, right? And that for young players, mentally that could take a toll on them. But I feel like they never folded. And you just talked about injuries too. I think what was the game? Malden game where Keelan got hurt.
Everett,
yeah, he got hurt, and that's when Gyro had to step in for him and stuff. And Keelan, what a freshman year he had. Think he lead the team in interceptions.
I remember,
Him
and Cash.
Yeah. So, man, so now they got that to look forward to. But how do you think they could use that going into next season? Because once again, new team, some changes, but they got experience now.
Yeah, I mean, all of them have experience. I will say naturally though, Cash is a leader. He might not see it, but he was a big focal point for us on defense. He's a smart guy, I will say. He made it a lot easier for all of us. And then just, the excitement of Gyro, the skills of all of them, they got Keelan coming back, the grit of Edmund. Those guys, they're going to be set. They got Coach McBill, they have Coach Griff.
Right.
They got guys that know what they're doing, and they just had a great, successful freshman year. They have the excitement and the opportunity to be young sophomores, but then still be leaders of this team for the next 3 years. So I think, English has a bright future to look forward to.
A couple games we just talked. The Everett game was, that performance was one of the best performances people have seen. Classical, you got the classical game. You guys just set the tone early in that game. But what led to those big performances as a team? I know that offensive line was such a big part of you guys' team, and the way those guys were able to just give you guys those opportunities to make those big plays in those games.
Part of it's me and X graduating. The sadness that's over, but the excitement to kind of go out and go out with a bang on our last couple games. Just the overall. What's the word? Just overall how proud we were of the team, the season we had, the success we had, and just growing up together.
Right.
It being our last year, and like I said, making ourselves proud, making our coaches proud, making our teammates proud, and just playing for one another and playing for pride. So that was a big thing, and like I always say, X being X, and me having him by my side, just knowing that we're some of the two best players, and we're trying to make plays anytime we can.
Right. Did you kind of look? Did it hit you? What did it hit you? What you guys did in that game, specifically you, what you did in that Everett game, just the performance you had in. I think you probably in the top 20, top 15 or 20 in the states in the rushing performances. I'm talking about history too.
Damn. I mean, it really. I don't know. I can't say it really hit me. It was just kind of like just wanting to win. We felt pretty disrespected that whole day. The celebrations they had for 2 days, the stuff they did before, during, and after the game, all that stuff, and just overall. I don't know. You can feel it in the air. But, we started off rocky. They're talking, they're chirping, they're saying this. People in the stands again start talking about, if we're who we are, we say we are. And it was just a real talk with JB, Coach JB, and Coach Mack. They were my guidance figures. Anytime I came to the sidelines, I'm asking them what I could do. And they're looking at me like, yeah, I don't know. You're playing on the field. Coach Mack at halftime, I think he's about to give me some motivational speech. I was struggling at halftime. And he was just telling me to stop being soft. Obviously he didn't say those words.
Right. I could imagine what he said.
Go do something. And then from then on, I got X in my ear as well, telling me, we're about to turn up and he's ready to go fight. And I watched how my defense was fighting to keep us in the game, so it made me want to turn up another level, and I did.
Yeah, but that was big. Now,
and gotta shout out Coach Shears, Coach Griff. Their adjustments at halftime were spot on. I don't think I got touched too many times.
Maybe when she got through the lane, but that was something to watch. How are you? What is the 4 years of high school, being a student athlete, being involved in the school? But what is kind of the biggest takeaways that you have from just the whole high school experience? Because as they say, it's the best time of your life.
Obviously I have some regrets, but overall I'm happy with the way my 4 years went. I think I'm happy with the way my senior year ended, with the people I met, the opportunities I've had, the way I've grown from freshman year to now. I'm proud to say who I am, and just I'm overall thankful for the teachers that helped me, and my family for staying there with me, my friends for their support. And my teammates for staying the course, those who did. So I'm forever grateful for that.
Definitely. And as he said, he's going to Choate. If you want to see him again there, he will be at that Gannis game at the end of the month at Manning Field. So, make sure you check that out. So a lot of his teammates will be on there too. A lot of the Lynn guys will be on there. So that'll be the last time you get to see those guys on that field. So June 27th or 28th or whatever. I think it's the 28th. Is the Gannis game at Manning Field. It's on a Sunday. I know that. It's on a Sunday. So
29th, one of the two.
Yeah, well, it's at the end of the month. You'll see y'all will see the flyers, man. You get yourself some sleep, man. get some sleep.
But I gotta do some stuff after this now.
You gotta go work out. You gotta get your workout.
I might go work out actually.
Plug in your social before we get out of here, man.
Shane, what is it? Shane Knowlton 7. Yeah, Shane Knowlton 7. And my IG is Shane44082. I gotta change that.
Yeah. Make sure you go follow him. Choate will be playing up here though. Choate got some games up here, I believe, in the fall. So.
Close to New Hampshire, yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you go out whenever this football season's coming up. But my man, proud of you, my guy.
Hey, Mook.
Yes, sir. Athletes Corner, we out of here.